So Nerlens Noel, this fascinating story. It had you really fired up because he played in the league for 10, 11 years. I'm sure you heard horror stories in the locker room. Hopefully nothing like this happened to you. But Nerlens Noel is with an agent called Happy Walters, named Happy Walters, has a offer for $70 million on the table. And Rich Paul, according to Nerlens Noel, this is not out there as fact, but this is according to a lawsuit. Nerlens Noel suing Rich Paul, agent of LeBron James, his former agent, because Nerlens Noel had $70 million on the table. Rich Paul tells him, "You're a $100 million man. Come with me. Take a qualifying offer this year. We'll get you a max deal down the road." Signs for $4.1 million for one season. Leaves $70 million on the table. Gets banged up the next year. And basically what he's claiming is that Rich Paul didn't really do anything to help him that following offseason. According to the report, basically there was no presentations of offers this is what it says. During the free agency season and after Noel's one-year contract with Dallas expired, neither Paul nor anyone at Clutch Sports presented any real proposals to Noel in terms of strategies or ideas on how Noel might secure a long-term contract or even if a significant contract for the following season was on the table. So I want to toss it back to you because this had you fired up. Crazy story, Nerlens Noel suing his former agent because he believes that he cost him tens of millions of dollars.
The thing about this, Aaron, is I'm very interested in how this is going to play out because I'm sure that it's not the first time this has happened to a player. The problem is, the offer that you have. Whether he tells you he doesn't guarantee he can get you a $100 million contract, he assumes you're worth more. We can get you more. Well, there's no guarantee.
Does he even assume, or is he saying, to use the dating analogy, is he saying whatever it takes to get you to come home with them, if you know what I mean? Because that's what it sounds like to me.
To a certain degree, but everybody knows this. It's not just in basketball. Football, baseball, you make some calls.
Sure.
And you say, I'm representing Aaron Torres now. What do you think he's going to be able to get in free agency because we have some offers? And then these general managers and whomever start to tell you because you're Rich Paul. You have a ton of clients that in the future these GMs and these teams would like to play for their team. And so they're going to tell you these things, and it's tampering and it's not legal, but it happens all the time. And so I would hope he did that. And with him getting injured that year when he took the qualifying offer, maybe that played a part into it. I don't know. But I know the agent's job is to get you the most money possible with the best fit. But ultimately, it's up to the player to say, okay, I'll turn this down, or no, I won't. I'm just eager to see how this plays out because I'm glad Nerlens Noel, he's signed a 3-year, I believe it was $32 million deal with the Knicks this offseason. That type of money, he should be good, but 32, 70. Man, and that's a big difference. And you only get one crack at this. And like I said earlier, Rich Paul will be an agent a lot longer than Nerlens Noel can play basketball.
So, and here's another layer to it as well, and I want your perspective as a former athlete. It says, according to Noel, he said that he even heard from then 76ers head coach Brett Brown and representatives from the Rockets and the Clippers that they weren't even able to get in contact with Rich Paul despite being interested in Noel as a player during that offseason. Now, I just want to know in the bigger picture, I understand any walk of life. There are people that are priorities, and for Rich Paul, his priority is obviously going to be LeBron James, Ben Simmons, an all-star caliber player in any given year. But do you believe this idea that Rich Paul didn't even care to take calls, and is that, I don't even want to say normal for an agent?
I find that hard to believe.
Okay, yep.
I find that hard to believe, and I'm always pro-player when it comes to stuff like this because your earning period is so small. LeBron is LeBron. LeBron is going to get a max deal all the time. You know that. Rich Paul don't have to worry about that. Same with Ben Simmons. Same with Anthony Davis. Those guys are getting max deals. It's easy. That's easy. It's the Nerlens Noels. And I mean, because what the NBA has basically come down to is max guys and mid-level exception guys, and there's a few guys in between. That's what it boils down to, is come to. I just don't believe Rich Paul would just focus on LeBron. LeBron's getting his. Ben Simmons is getting his. Anthony Davis is getting his. These dudes that are the best in the game are going to get their contracts regardless of who they play for and who are they signed with to represent them on the business end. I just don't – I can't believe that he kind of put him on a back burner, because when he initially signed him, he courted you, so to speak. At least that's what the lawsuit is saying and things of that nature. But there is some truth to, okay, the Clippers, the Sixers reached out, and we didn't get a return call. I'm sure there's some truth to it, because you have relationships with certain teams. You might want to see your guys play on certain teams in certain cities with other certain players. And so it just, I'm sure that happened. If he doesn't have hard proof, I don't see how he wins this, but this will be groundbreaking, because never again will an agent tell a player to turn down. Look at Dennis Schroeder.
Sure.
Look at it, whether it's true or not, everybody assumes the Lakers offered him $80 million. Dude signs for $5 million.
Mm-hmm. Well,
like, I'm going crazy.
Sure.
Like, whoever my agent is, I can't see you in public. If I see you in public, you better have security.
Well, and
that's how crazy I'm going. And I promise you, I'm going crazy. Do not let me see you in public. If you see me in public, you know you better turn the other direction. I don't even give a damn if you got security. Security going to have to whoop me. That's how angry I am.
Well, yeah, and what's really interesting, which I hadn't really considered because I've never played professional sports at that level, especially in a league like the NBA, the idea that you just brought up, LeBron James as an actual agent, especially when it comes to negotiating NBA contracts, should be your lowest priority client. Not that you don't want LeBron happy, but whenever whenever he's up for the max, he signs the max. You give him a piece of paper, you give him a pen, he signs, you're out the door in 10 minutes. So we can criticize Ben Simmons all we want, but when he signed his last contract, he was a max player. So Nerlens Noel, what you're saying, and I think it makes a lot of sense, I had never considered it, he's the guy that you should be working the phones for harder.
Yes.
Because one, obviously a commission's a commission, but two, you don't got to work the phones for LeBron James. You don't got to work the phones for Ben Simmons, but you might have to work them for Nerlens Noel. So it's fascinating. Do you think, again, I'm putting you on the spot. I'm not saying that we're calling Nerlens Noel a liar, but I will say, even from my perspective, like I said, a commission is a commission, and the idea that Rich Paul wasn't even taking calls for his clients seems, I don't want to say far-fetched, but it does seem a little bit far-fetched. That part of it maybe doesn't really pass the smell test for me.
It's odd. That's all I'll say is when you have big, high-name profile clients, they really can do their own deal, especially in the NBA. I mean, they're maxed out. You can make X amount for this amount of years. We can't go any higher than this. That makes it easy. And so you have the clients that aren't at that level. Now you got to do your work. And that's who you, at least to me, that's what I would do. You work for the guys that really need to work, that need your help. I mean, it's no different if you're a teacher in school. You got your straight A students. They may need help sometimes, but for the most part, they got it. I got to work with the students that really need my help, that struggle in this area of school. This subject is tough for them. So that teacher shows that student or these students a little more attention because they need the help more than a student that it comes very easily to. That's an analogy you get.
I like it.
It's common sense. I don't need to help the whiz kid with math. The whiz kid is going to help me help the other kids.
Yeah.
It's the kids that need the help. It's the players that aren't at the max level that need the attention. At least that's how I would operate if I was an agent.